You know, it wasn't supposed to be this way. It should have been a happy moment, and in many ways it was, until the truth set in. My fiancée Lynn and I were meeting with our pastor and friend Jim. We were with him for premarital counseling before our upcoming wedding, and had talked about what marriage meant and what our expectations were for the marriage. Eventually, the conversation turned to the ceremony itself. We were going to be married in a charming 120-year-old Methodist church near my wife's hometown in the far west suburbs of Chicago. Jim would be sharing the responsibility of the service with the pastor of that church. As part of the discussion about the ceremony, Jim asked Lynn whom she had chosen to walk her down the aisle. Normally, that's a fairly straightforward question, but Lynn's father had passed away 9 years earlier when she was 20. Lynn, without hesitation, calmly said, "No one." "Certainly you have an uncle or friend or family member who can walk you down the aisle," he asked. "No," she answered resolutely. "I'm going to walk by myself." Jim tried one more time to talk her out of it, but she was adamant. "No, I'm going to go alone." I'll never forget what happened next. Jim leaned forward, looked her square in the eye, and with a voice full of compassion, said, "You know, it wasn't supposed to be this way." In the silence that followed, we all recognized the truth that was in the room, and we all started crying. Tears came down our faces, and we wept silently because what he said was so incredibly true. The three of us just sat in silence, letting the gravity of the statement sink in. It really wasn't supposed to be this way. When she was a little girl, she imagined this special day when she would walk down the aisle with her father proudly at her side. He was supposed to be there for the most important day of her life. It wasn't supposed to be this way. 2 months later, when she turned the corner in the back of the church and started walking down the aisle, looking stunningly beautiful, it became very clear to me and to everyone else that she was not walking alone, that her father in some way was very much with her. Her decision to walk by herself honored him so powerfully because his absence made us all aware of his presence. She had reserved that spot once and forever just for her father. No other man would ever take that place, ever. That day she paid tribute to all that her father had done for her, all the words of love, blessing, and belief he had conveyed to her in 20 short years. It was a beautiful yet painful thing at the same time. It wasn't supposed to be this way. That phrase hit me hard that day and has stayed with me for over 20 years. Its truth has extended beyond our marriage ceremony and caused me to reflect on how life itself was supposed to be. When I reflect on my own life, working at a marriage, having 3 children, doing my best to raise them right, getting up every day, going to work, working hard, being exhausted at some point every week, buying cars and homes, repairing roofs, paying bills, facing any number of struggles, I ask, is this how life was supposed to be? Deep down in the private corners of our souls, we all ask that question, don't we? And if we're honest, most of us at one time or another feel that no, it wasn't supposed to be this way. Something is just a little or a lot off. Why are the relationships with the people I love the most difficult? Why am I working harder and longer hours today than I did 20 years ago? Why do I struggle financially? Why didn't I get the promotion instead of the person with a whole lot less experience in the next office? Why did I get cancer while others who seemingly neglect their bodies are cancer-free? It seems that despite trying to do all the right things, life isn't turning out the way I thought it would. Then I look at the world around us, the world in which our children will grow up. Conflicts and war, epidemics, terrorist attacks, collapsing economies, a giant gap between those who have and those who do not. It doesn't feel like God is winning at all. Is this really how it was supposed to be? I don't know about you, But too often I find myself thinking things will never get better in the world.